And so
There
it
we
shall
go.
be.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So, welcome everybody. As I said when we got started, please ensure in your chat as well, you can drop in your LinkedIn profile and what you do and introduce yourselves to each other. So I will introduce myself. I'm Barbara Engelbart McKenzie. I have taken on the role here of Executive Director of the Global Chamber Alberta. And really, why I wanted to do this is I do have a passion for economic development, trade, and export. I've worked in those sectors for the last 15 years on investments, on entrepreneurship in many different areas. And I learned about Global Chamber back in 2018 and met Doug and got involved at that time. And I've always kind of been a member and attached to Global Chamber and just thought this is an incredible opportunity at this moment in time to build Global Chamber in Alberta. Global chambers are often associated with metropolitan areas. We're building it provincially here because we want to include all of our metropolitan areas. We have incredible cities all over this province, and we want to make sure everybody, rural and urban, is included. And so my background is really economic development, tech investment, and different types of the parts of the entrepreneurship support system. I also spent 20 years in marketing communication and have been a serial entrepreneur most of my life, as well as taking on a lot of board director and chair roles. Another part that is really important about Global Chamber is our advisory board. And every great chapter across Global Chamber has an advisory board. And these can range from 10 in members to up to 50 in members, like our Global Chamber Phoenix chapter. Really, in an Alberta focused organization, we want to make sure we're representing the entire province. So, our advisory board here will be made up of 16 members, five in Edmonton, five in Calgary, and then one each in our other municipalities, which are Red Deer, Grant Prairie, Fort McMurray, Lloydminster, Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat. And to date, we've assembled a pretty incredible advisory board here. We have three amazing Edmonton members who have joined us here today, and they will drop their names into the chat. We have Terry Davis from Profound Talent in Ulu. We have Suki Grewal from GLA Accounting, and we have Marcella Mandeville of Bright Ideas International. In Red Deer, we're excited to have Stephanie Gross join us. Stephanie is the CEO of Bumblewool. In Calgary, we have Wumi joining us as well, and Wumi is doing some amazing work with Trade Without Borders, and she's also works with the Immigrant Techie Network. And so we're building our advisory board right now. These are all incredible members of Global Chamber Alberta and are helping us build out the chapter here in Alberta. So, what is Global Chamber all about? Well, Global Chamber is an incredible organization that really supports import, export, and building trade and trusted relationships. We currently have 605 plus chapters globally. We're very much focused on that international trusted connection. We have an incredible AI platform called Globi. That's really simplifying growth and those connections. And as Doug will tell you when he speaks in a minute, it's all beyond about reaching beyond borders. So what do we want to do here? Well, our intent is to make global growth faster, easier, and trusted. We build warm introductions between clients, partners, and eventually creating business deals. We've got lots of events and programs that help grow visibility. Market expansion, support, and insights are really important to us, and we ensure that companies get a soft landing into those 605 plus metros where we have locations worldwide. So, who really are those people that we help? Well, we help exporters, those that are already exporting into markets and are looking to expand that, those that are looking at building new markets or learning about export and expansion and looking at testing markets. This is a way to connect to new clients, a way to gain visibility. We have incredible events like the Export League event that help people connect globally. We also work with a lot of service providers to help that to ensure that your success is met. So if you're a business looking for somebody and support in a foreign market, we have service providers that can support with that and can help you network with companies when entering new markets. We also have a lot of investors in ecosystem members. These are emerging companies and global partners, as well as innovation and scale ups, bankers, lawyers, advisors that can help you as well globally. So the intent behind Global Chamber is really to make it easier and simpler to connect globally. We know everybody's looking for targeted clients anywhere in the world. It's difficult to navigate local regulations and cultures. It's hard to find those trusted contacts, and we want to make sure we have those. We want to create more visibility and credibility for Alberta businesses abroad and bring more businesses into Alberta as well, because Global Chamber is both ways. There are businesses that are looking to work in other jurisdictions, and Alberta might be one of those, and we want to highlight Alberta. And this is also about getting the right talent and leadership. So, as I said, we're in 605 plus metro areas globally, covering 195 countries with over 20,000 members and collaborators to connect with. So, in today's world, why Global Chamber in Alberta and why today? Well, we all know CUSMA is being renegotiated right now. Our primary trading partner in Canada has been deeply changed, and we understand that the United States-Mexico trade agreement could look different. We have trade tariffs and global turbulence happening, and we're looking for more trusted sources and export markets. We're seeing things like Select USA and FDI coming up more, and we know that China and Taiwan have other markets that we need to be looking at as well. What are some of the key opportunities through Global Chamber? Well, we cover almost every industry, as you can see by this list. There's so many things emerging from AI and technology. There was recently an incredible global semiconductor summit that was hosted by Global Changer. Defense is something we've been speaking about significantly here in Alberta and in Canada. And we know that things like energy and agriculture are major areas where we have a lot of discipline here that we can bring to the world. So why Alberta? Why Canada? Why now? Why Global Chamber? Well, obviously, we have the changing international trade relationships. The US, which has been our primary trading partner, is maybe not as reliable as it once was. We hope that'll change, but CUSMA renegotiations will show us how that's going to go. Canada actually has the most reciprocal trade agreements of any country in the G20. We have 15 active reciprocal trade agreements that we can take advantage of. We need to increase awareness of Alberta opportunities beyond oil and gas into alternative energies, into agriculture and food, into AI and technology. There's so much, and pharmaceuticals, so much Alberta has to offer. Global Chamber is an opportunity for us to build the profile of Alberta as open and ready for business. And we want to scale more Canadian and Alberta companies internationally. We know that in order to grow, we need to look internationally. Canada can be, and it is a very small market. So that's the reasons that I've actually brought Global Chamber to Alberta. These things are all really important. What I'd like to do now is turn it over to Doug Brunke, the CEO and founder of Global Chamber. We'll talk a little bit about why Global Chamber was founded and give you some ideas and examples of some of the achievements that Global Chamber has had through some of the connections they've made for clients. Doug, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm really excited by this launch. It's not the first time we've launched in Alberta. It actually is the third chapter for Global Chamber out of 605. And when I say chapter, it really was Calgary that started us on our first few chapters of Global Chamber. And that was because of the sister city relationship between Calgary and Phoenix. And so we subsequently began to ramp things up, but it took some time for us to find the right person for the chapter. I'll talk a little bit about what we're working to do, but I don't want to go any further without emphasizing how important it is to find the right people to lead our chapters. Barbara McKenzie is that right person. She has the characteristics that we look for in all of our chapters in all of the countries around the world. Someone who is knowledgeable, someone who is business experienced, has global background, is well connected, has integrity, is trustworthy, and overall, the combination of all those things, including professional and being able to facilitate meetings and to be able to lead within a community, those are all very important and are all characteristics for leading a chapter. So, welcome, Barbara. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for this meeting today, and thank you overall. The purpose of Global Chamber is, as Barbara mentioned, to build new business connections that grow business. This was my initial idea over 10 years ago as I was thinking about the world and how fragmented it is relative to international business. It's not much more uh, uh, it's not better connected in any way that I can see, except in two main ways. Number one is technology is bringing us together and continues to bring us together, but we still, as people, automatically silo ourselves by our town and city and market segment and in our own business and in a variety of ways. And I've really felt and see now over these years that by breaking down those silos and breaking down the these silos that people automatically create, we create more connections, we create more opportunities, and we create more business. And that's really what Global Chamber is about, creating more business overall. I would also say that a key part of what underlies Global Chamber is the ability for anyone, anywhere, to succeed on the global stage. That was, I guess my mother was the one that somehow instilled that in me. Social justice and the ability of people to to go beyond what people's paradigms might be about their gender and their culture and their religion, and to be able to just show up at a table and perform and deliver, and it's an equal playing field. And so I've always felt that way from elementary school onward and all the way through a corporate career with the DuPont company and in the mining industry. And now with Global Chamber, a key aspect of what we see every day is the ability of people to join Global Chamber and for them to develop trusted connections anywhere they want to grow. That is critically important for Canada right now. I'm reminded when I see what's happening in Canada today and in Alberta, in addition, is what I saw in Australia nearly 40 years ago when I was traveling in my initial international business. 40 years ago, Australia felt like wow, there's nothing happening here. They're so distant and they're set up for failure on the global stage. But what happened over those next 10 years was that their prime minister started reducing the tariffs and got them much more competitive in the world. It's taken some time, but they developed an economy that was much more robust, much more entrepreneurial, much more diverse from a portfolio standpoint.
All right, everyone. I think we might have lost Doug momentarily. Uh, we'll see if he gets back here. But he definitely, I will add that Global Chamber was started in Phoenix, Arizona by Doug 10 years ago, about 2016, and has really grown substantively since then. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Doug back here and see from there. Give me a sec here. Mila, can you throw me back on Spotlight and we can try to get Doug back? All right. Well, as we're trying to get Doug back, we will just jump in and I'll start talking about a few other things around Global Chamber. So really, like Dick was saying, it's about those international opportunities and connections. And as you can see by the chat today, we have some members of Global Chambers from other areas across the US, around the world. And there's a lot of opportunities to connect with people globally. We have monthly member meetups. And so every chapter will hosts a monthly member meetup that anybody from any member from any other chapter can attend. I've been to meetups from Mexico, Africa, and many, many others. So there's lots of opportunity there. So it's great to be able to make connections in that way because monthly meetups are open to anybody from any chapter anywhere. There's also lots of various global events and engagements that you can participate in. So there's lots of opportunities. There's tons of events. Recently was just World Trade Week and month in May, and there was lots of US events and lots of other spotlights that happen. We have regular recurring events like an export event, women in leadership, and many, many other more industry focused events. So there's lots, and all of these events are online and they are free to members. And we'll also be doing events here in Alberta. What I want to do is talk about some of the incredible partnerships that we have. And this is a huge part of Global Chamber. And what I think is really key and important with Global Chamber is that we work with other organizations. It's incredibly important for us to continue to partner and work with other organizations. This is the way that we really find that we are able to connect people. And so we've been able to partner with the Alberta India Chamber of Commerce, and I believe a Newham is here. We have the America Canada Chamber West, Shane Jaffer. We have the Western Canada Defense Industry Association. Norman is here from that. We recently just signed a partnership agreement with the Canadian Council for Indigenous Business, and this is a partnership we're hoping to share with our other chapters across Canada and Vancouver and Toronto, which also started at the same time we have. And we're really excited about that one. We also partnered with the DEGD Council and the Made in Africa Summit, where I'll actually be speaking this week here in Edmonton, representing Global Chamber. And we're building even more of these partnerships with many more organizations, including, local chambers of commerce, other bilateral trade chapters, and chambers and other organizations that have interests in building more trade and export opportunities for their clients and their members. All right. Oops. Here in Alberta, this is the first of events that we'll be having. So we'll be doing Globinars on a monthly basis. Our monthly meetup will start happening. We'll be doing sector events. In September, we're going to definitely do an in-person event, one in Edmonton, one in Calgary. And I'm really excited that Wumi, one of our advisory board members, has agreed to bring Trade Without Borders to Edmonton and has allowed Edmonton, the Global Chamber Alberta, to be the co-host for that event. So we're very excited about that. I do see Doug is back. So we're going to backtrack and we're going to jump back in and bring Doug back to speak.
I'm so sorry. That was a technical glitch I have never seen before. It bumped me off the system for some reason, and I don't honestly know what happened. So that'll be some troubleshooting to do. to do later. It's creating also. I can see that it's doing something weird that I've never seen before. Has that ever happened to you, Barbara, where something technically has happened you've never seen before? uh,
It, these days, it always happens that way.
I'm not sure exactly where I cut off, but I was really wanted just to reemphasize what a timely moment it is for Canada to diversify its portfolio. For whatever reason, it's happened. For whatever reason, it's a good thing for countries to think global, to have a diverse portfolio, and to be diversified in terms of the number of countries and so that they're trading in. And so most exporters around the world tend to be accidental, and then they kind of back into exporting. They often more strategically go after investing around the world. That's a good thing. And so the proactive and strategic design of exporting and a proactive and strategic entry into new markets around the world is absolutely critical for Canadian companies right now. And I'm just very happy, Barbara, that we at Global Chamber can help facilitate that with connections anywhere, with trade missions, with other opportunities to be able to get Canadian businesses, Albertan businesses, to be connected to new opportunities around the world, not just to know about them, but to say, look, I have this product, I want to meet these people, and to be able to make introductions that turn into business. That's what we do. That's what there are very few ways to do that otherwise. Most governments have some entities that do that, and we encourage you to work with local government entities as well. However, at the end of the day, you need all the help you can get. I've been an exporter for 40 years myself. It's not an easy thing to do. It's more difficult than selling in your neighborhood. And so to be able to grow across provinces, across borders, around the world, it's absolutely essential to collaborate to get the help that you need. And Global Chamber is the best help to be able to grow globally. So, Barbara, thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce some of the value proposition of Global Chamber. And for all of the people here attending, feel free to send me a message. Doug@globalchamber.org is my email address. And to reach out, I'll put my information about LinkedIn. If you're not connected on LinkedIn, I'm just Doug Brunke, and I have a funny last name, so I'll put that in the chat area with the link. I welcome connections to all of you. My background, by the way, is that I am a New Yorker. I grew up in upstate New York, so I have some level of understanding of what cold weather is. I did also live in Detroit, and though that's about as southern as you can get, in from Canada, you do have to head south into Canada from Detroit to get to Canada. So I felt like that gave me some little kudos into Canada. I also have done a lot of business through my DuPont days and through my automotive industry days in Canada. Obviously, a very important trading partner for the U.S. from NAFTA and how NAFTA changed the trade between countries, and now with USMCA. Hopefully, we're at Global Chamber optimistic, hopefully realistic that we'll have some sort of an agreement in place, maybe somewhat delayed after July 1st. The carryover of USMCA, of course, will happen. The belief by the experts within Global Chamber is that there'll be something in place, at least as good, hopefully, as the current agreement. And certainly anything that makes trade easier is something that we support. We're not very policy oriented, other than let's trade. What we're oriented toward is making connections that grow business. And Barbara, thank you again for the opportunity. Thank you for your focus on helping companies succeed, and that's going to help the Alberta success of Global Chamber. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Really appreciate it. I appreciate what I have seen, the work that you've done over the years and the connections you've been able to make. And I certainly know the benefit of the connections I've been able to make through Global Chamber. All right. So, there's lots of different ways to engage with Global Chamber. So, membership is obviously one of those. That is really the key piece. We also have sponsor and partnership opportunities as well. But membership is really a great way to get connections and exposure to all sorts of different markets. And what do you really get with Global Chamber? Well, with Global Chamber, you get warm business connections. This is all about building trusted relationships. I think that's the thing that Doug has really striven to build here with Global Chamber. We have 195 countries we do business in, and as we love all of our trade commissioners and Alberta trade offices that we have here in Canada, but there's no way they can reach 195 markets. So we've really, have that opportunity to make those warm business connections, to have those trusted business connections into those markets through your Global Chamber membership. There's obviously access to hundreds of events everywhere. It's a very busy, there's lots always on the calendar that you can attend to go to. You can pick the markets that you're really interested in and get to know people and hear what's going on in those markets. There are export and market expansion programs that Doug runs through various events and support services. There's lots of those very good intros to those trusted connections. It's a way to grow your visibility both locally and globally. There's often opportunities for speaking and thought leadership that can be taking place. We can do custom events if there's something that we're interested in promoting from an Alberta's perspective to the global market through our entire Global Chamber membership. And it really is a global platform and advocacy for global trade and export rather than local advocacy that you get with the local chamber. This is global, so you get the benefit of having your local chamber membership and your global membership as well. I always like to emphasize one membership in all markets. If you're a Global Chamber Alberta member and you have offices globally, you are a Global Chamber member globally. So that's one of the really key benefits as well. So these are some sponsorship level ideas. What we have right now, just for today and today only, is a special membership offer. So if you scan this QR code until Friday, you will get 20% off your membership just for attending today. It's only for today's attendees here in Alberta. And so you scan that QR code and you can go and get that special membership offer. We have a goal of 50 members kind of by the end of the summer, and then substantively growing more in fall. So please get your membership today and take advantage of all these incredible opportunities to grow globally and be in touch and get involved. As well, there's great ways to connect with us through LinkedIn. This is the Global Chamber Alberta LinkedIn, so make sure you scan that, follow us on Global Chamber Alberta. And from there, we'll also have connections to our Instagram, Facebook, and others if you have other social media you'd like to follow on. So, simply said, Global Chamber, it's building more opportunities. As Doug always says, be global, be unstoppable. And we really are looking forward to building Global Chamber here in Alberta. I think this is an incredible time, an incredible opportunity for Alberta, for Canada to look to the world, to take advantage of all of our trade agreements. I'm very excited to be building Global Chamber Alberta, but also building with all of other Canadian counterparts. Looking forward to seeing Vancouver, Toronto, and every other city here in Canada grow a Global Chamber network as well. Doug, anything else that you would like to add as we wrap up here today?
Thank you, Barbara. I think you touched on some really important points. One thing I'm not sure we've talked much about is the collaboration opportunities that we believe are so important. It's the concept that it does take a village. There's a lot of people. I touched on the government, and it's important to utilize the resources that are available there. There's also many binational chambers. There are other resources. Typically, in every community, there are small and medium-sized business support structures that are built up. Those are all really important. At the end of the day, though, there's only one global chamber. There's only one organization that says, look, we want to help you reach foreign markets. We want to be able to connect you wherever that connection might be. So, one thing that members hopefully don't get tired of ever hearing the question, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to meet is the core question within Global Chamber. And I will say, just as a quick example, this morning I typically try to do at least 5 phone calls to members. And this morning I was able to do 3. And all 3 of them, I asked that question, who do you want to meet? And the answer was typically a refresh of, oh, of course. Or it was, hey, that's a new market. Tell me more about what you're thinking there. And market could be a market segment, it could be a region, it could be some success that they've had. And so as you join Global Chamber, there's 2 things, at least 2 things to think about. Number one, and there's Globi on the screen. Globi is our AI tool, our Global Chamber Manila chapter leader, who's probably the Philippines' most knowledgeable person on AI, built that for us over the last year. And we've been using that for 6 months to be able to support the connections that we make. You know, we're dedicated to helping. We can't always think of the right people to connect. And so Globi, she is an amazing technology for us. She gives us ideas. Sometimes we kick ourselves and say, oh, we should have thought of that. More likely and more often it's, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know about that person. Or I knew that person, but I didn't know they had that connection. And so Globi gives us ideas to make warm introductions. And so those 3 calls that I made this morning, I've already made 5 introductions from those 3 calls to the members that I feel really good about because at the end of the day, you don't know for sure whether, and I can tell you, not every single introduction is a home run, is something that's going to be superb. However, if we do enough of them, and that's what our goal is, we'll do enough of them, and you get 10 or 12, so let's say their first 10 introductions at Global Chamber, how many, if they're targeted and they're focused and they're warm and a conversation actually happens, can you turn into a client? You know, timing isn't always right, and there's a lot of things that go on. But our experience is if we're doing our job and being diligent about it, and you're being clear on letting Globi know, and we do have a form for you to fill out for Globi, and then touch base with Barbara from once in a while. And also feel free to touch base with myself or with Cesar Trabanco, who runs our Connection Center, or anybody else that you meet at Global Chamber. And Barbara, I'll end with this. One of the, to me, the most satisfying parts of Global Chamber, other than the results that happen of getting connected and growing business, is the community. I'll be honest, even though the chambers of commerce, and I'm not talking about Alberta, I'm talking about the ones that I'm mainly used to. I couldn't be part of a local chamber of commerce, me personally, or at least not on a regular basis, because it's too small. It's not big enough thinking. It's not broad enough thinking. And so that was my original frustration that, wow, you know, I've got a business that is in a variety of other places. Where do I go? Where can I go to handle bigger thinking, bigger thought processes? Not that it doesn't happen in local chambers, it does. But what we're able to do just through our structure is another level higher. And so we recommend that you do join your local chamber and support your local community and then be part of Global Chamber if you're selling across regions, across towns, across borders. It's going to give you ideas, it's going to give you opportunities, and the community is so supportive that they'll want to support you. We want to support you. And Barbara, we want to support you too. Thank you for jumping in, for leading, and we look forward to the weeks, months, and years ahead.
Thanks so much, Doug. And like Doug said, it's really about those connections. Just this week, we were able to make some connections for Norman as he's headed off to Paris and at a defense summit and wanted some connections, and we're able to make some connections for him to go to Paris. And that is really an example of that reach for Global Chamber. So I will provide everybody some follow-up information. If you registered for the webinar from our email addresses, I will send out some follow-up information as well as the link to the membership discount, which is only valid till Friday and only for those who registered for the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time. You'll get my email address as well. And I do look forward to seeing you all at our next Global Chamber event and to have many of you join us in this journey as we build Alberta and Canada and our global connections. Thank you all so much for coming today. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Barbara. Be global and unstoppable. You're amazing.
You too, Doug. Be global and unstoppable, everyone.
Barbara, good job. I was just typing out everybody's name still.
It's all too. I gotta list Stephanie. I've been taking screenshots.
I feel like I'm making a big post on LinkedIn tagging everybody. So I got everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah. Have a
Thanks.
great day.
You too.
Oh, actually,
Bye.
you know what? Do you have 2 seconds or I'm
Yeah,
I'm going to Salt Lake
absolutely.
City for a trade
Yeah.
yeah, so trade delegation. So I didn't even really think about it, but yeah, I need to so should I just send an email to Doug, do you think? Or what's the best? I'm trying to onboard. There's like you said, drinking from a fire hose. So I'm
Yeah. Go into Globy first because I just did that for Norman. So I just went in and typed in members in Paris, and so I came up with that for him. And then I did reach out to Cesar and Doug afterwards and say, is there anybody else that you can think of that he should reach out to? Because sometimes people have connections into the cities, but don't
right.
actually aren't a member in the city, right?
Okay. I'll do that right now. So I'll go into Globy and I kind of onboarded a little bit, but I didn't finish. So fantastic. Have
Okay.
oh look, I just got my Can Export money. They just like claim completed and sent me money. It's been
Yay.
so fast. I'm good. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks so
You
much.
too.
Bye.